Okay, we're going to go James Cole first from Sky once this chap's popped his phone down.
Steve, your reflections, is that another one that slipped away?
Yeah, I think that it's incredibly frustrating. I feel the frustration of the players, the disappointment of the supporters. Whilst there's much to be proud or positive about, we want to win games. And so we put ourselves in position to win the games but not convert them. And these are challenging days right now. The development days for us, it's painful. We will work through this and we will ensure that we are a better team coming out of it.
It's becoming a theme, isn't it? Getting yourselves into a position to win the games but then falling off. How do you explain that and how do you fix it?
Well, I think firstly we're over the last period of time, the tests down in New Zealand, the tests you were playing against very, very good teams, and you have to credit them. And I think it's important here to recognise just how good South Africa are. Double world champions, the consistency and the experience they have within their team means you have to be on the money every second of the test match. And what we saw clearly was, particularly in the last part, we had plenty of entries in their 22, we had plenty of opportunities to score, and there were just small moments, small lapses that in the magnitude of the game end up being hugely significant. And that's what we're working through, and that's what we're working with the players to develop, to ensure we are the team where I think that this team can go in the next few years.
It is 5 defeats in a row. What would you say to England rugby fans who maybe aren't seeing progress and aren't patient?
Well, I think that the most impatient people are without question us that are in the team. With the team, we want the players and coaches and all management. We want everything to happen now. I think as you look at it, the transition of this team, if you can simply just compare the two teams today, they had, I think, 15 players who were in the semi-final a year ago, and they've obviously kept that team very much together. Our team, we had a number of players finish after the World Cup, and this last year has been one of transitioning a lot of young players into this England team, which I think have an incredibly exciting future. And it's a transition in the way we're trying to play also. You can see when the team moves the ball, you see just the talent that we have and the pace that we have. What I would do is make sure that we make all those moments count.
Time isn't something that's always afforded in professional sport. Are you confident you will be given time to turn these good performances into wins?
I'm very confident that we are on the right path, and I'm very confident that I'm working with a great group of coaches, a great group of players. Very confident that we will be on a trajectory that we're moving along. We want things to happen now. It's not happened now. We aim to put in a better performance next week against Japan when we're back here next Sunday.
Have you been given guarantees in that respect that it's a longer-term project and you'll get that time?
Yeah, I'm not going to be talking about private conversations with you here. And I think what's actually more important is the feeling I get. And the feeling I get from the RFU is one of absolute support, an absolute belief that this team is going in the right direction. And that's the feeling I get from everybody at the RFU.
Jamie, do you feel the team's going in the right direction?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think, like Steve elaborated too, of course we are disappointed with the results. I think we wanted to give the England fans 3 wins from 3. Of course we did. I think if you look at the 3 test matches individually, I think there are definitely things that, of course, we needed to get better. And, you look at today, I was really proud of the team in terms of the way that they fronted up physically, and it's such a, test match rugby is a game of really fine margins, and I think we created a lot of opportunities against a world-class team, that back-to-back world champions for a reason. But, you speak to those guys. I just was in the change room then, and they were saying that, they felt really under pressure there. They felt the physicality of the game, and I think that's a sign of a good team. What we need to do is make sure we find the fixes to closing out those games, and I have every confidence and belief in the players and the staff that we will do everything that we possibly can to be a significantly better team come next week, but also looking ahead to the Six Nations.
You went off around about 50 minutes again. Is that frustrating that you can't help in those closing stages? And does it leave a leadership void?
It certainly doesn't leave a leadership void. We have leaders all the way across the field. I think you look at the team that was on at the end. There was plenty of leaders in that team, and I think every player, if you speak to every player, they would always want to play every moment of every game. But the hooker jersey is an 80-minute performance across two players, and I think when you've got the likes of Luke Cowan-Dickey or Theo Dan coming off the bench, then the things that they can add, and I think you saw that with Luke tonight.
Okay, we're going to have one from you, James, then to you, Alfie.
Steve, I'm sure we all share your frustrations and sympathise greatly. With Japan and the Six Nations coming up, are you in a position where it's so close that you're going to continue exactly on the trajectory with the personnel you've got, or is there a little bit of fine-tweaking, a bit of pruning that's got to take place to really get this team into a position where they're killing off these big gaps?
Well, I think there is always those changes that you need to continually develop. I think what's important is that the core of the game. I think if you look at this, the core of the game is putting us in a position to be ahead on the scoreboard against very, very good opposition, and we will improve to ensure that we do finish off those games. But it's something that the central elements of our game are good and are able to compete with the very best around.
Just before you start, will you just make sure you remain seated during the press conference? Yeah, Alfie.
Steve, from your point of view, I suppose, particularly in an attacking sense, what changed or what went wrong in the second half for you to only score 3 points?
Yeah, well, I think you have to credit that they're a pretty good team we're playing against, and it was a very, very tight game for a long period. I think there's some moments there towards the back end of the game where I thought we had opportunities that we didn't quite take, and I want to make sure that the players understand that the backing I give them consistently to show their skill set, the backing I give them. I have absolute confidence in them as players to make the right decisions and their ability to move the ball, even in the tightest situations, even in the closest of test matches. I believe our players have got very, very good skills, and as they get more and more experience at test level, I believe they will take those opportunities.
And results aside, are you happy with how the team's developing, or have you taken some backward steps this autumn?
I think that clearly we want wins, and we're all really, really disappointed that we haven't got those wins so far this autumn. We've one more game next week that we want to make sure we get the performance and the result that we've all been working towards. Here we're playing against very, very good teams, and there are big positives to take from it. There are also big learning days. These are painful experiences right now. We're going through them. I think this adversity will ultimately be good for the team long term. It's just very, very difficult right now.
And Jamie, on that criticism, do you embrace it or protect the team from it as you build into the Japan game?
No, look, I think, again, we are as frustrated as everyone else. I think it's important for us as players to take responsibility over the last three performances. I think when you look at it, you look at the positions that we put ourselves in across all three games and tonight, in terms of the plan that's being put out there, that when we play to the plan, I think we are a very, very dangerous team. I think when we stray away from that, we allow teams opportunities, and I think that's exactly what happened this evening. So we will be holding our hands up, we will be looking at ourselves, and we're making sure that we find the fixes so that we are ready to go against Japan.
And I know you weren't on at this point. I didn't know if you had a chance to speak to the team yet. Were there any thoughts to possibly go for the 3 points kind of towards the end there to cut it down to a one-score game rather than kicking to the corner?
I haven't spoken to Mara about it, but I absolutely back his decision. I think we just needed to be more clinical again. We had a really good line-out play that we could have taken an opportunity to close out the game, and we didn't execute it. So again, that's on us to make sure that we're able to do that.
Okay, we're going to have last two. So we're going to go Alex, then Nick, then we're done.
Steve, the last 20 had a lot of ball and obviously a man advantage. The accuracy seemed to go at that point. Is there a reason, do you think there's a reason for that? Is there an overriding issue there?
Yeah, I think that, first I'll also say that they're a very good team we're playing against, and when you have that level of experience and understand what you've got to do in those circumstances of when you're playing a man down, and their line speed went up, their attack at the breakdown went up, and they caused some of those errors. I think the other opportunity was, I think there was some moments where we could have moved the ball a little bit wider, and we didn't. We attacked a little bit narrower. Again, I'll have a good discussion with the players about why we made those decisions.
Nick.
Steve, over the summer you lost a lot of two world-class coaches. Aled, who was a very positive voice in the environment, and Felix, who seemed to be on the right track with defence, and now you've also got Kev, who's not in camp all the time. Is that having, how much of an impact? Is that having, how much of a factor is that behind?
I'm very confident with the whole management team. We have coaching and full management team. Ultimately, we're getting in positions to win the games, which says that there's a lot of things being done really, really well. Now, clearly, we're going against teams like today. The level of experience they have, and the level of experience they've seen those games out. Now, as I say, these games, it's tough right now. It's painful. But we will work through it, and we will be a better team because of these painful experiences now.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
I try again.